What's going on, everyone? Hope you had a great weekend. I was away at the Fantasy Football Expo, having a great time. I'm going to be doing 2 drafts today, back to back. The first one, little surprise for you. Something good actually happened. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's do it. Folks, it happened. I got the 101 in a Millie draft. It happened. My 4th Jahmyr Gibbs share, exposure, draft, team. I'm excited. I'm also very exhausted right now. I'm on the tail end of this cold that just won't go away. It's been like a week and a half of this thing. But I'm feeling a lot. I mean, like last week, some of the shows I did last week, I was just out of it. So I am definitely feeling better. Kitchen, who's in here right now, is almost definitely going to get this cold because we were together last week and I was on the tail end. I thought I was on the tail end, and I was for the most part, but I was still snotting a lot. But I'm not. That's not happening anymore. How was the expo weekend? Fantastic. It was great. Let me just hang on just 1 second. Let me bask in this Jahmyr Gibbs glory. Oh, it felt so good. It felt so good. Now I can't screw up this team because I finally have Gibbs. What's going on, Sports Edits? D says, take Bijan. We got Bijan in the 102. No surprise. But no, the expo was fantastic. Always great to hang out with industry friends. I got to see Jay Bolt. What's going on, brother? Got to see a lot of people. The footballers were there this year. They're good friends of ours here at Late Round. Hung out with them a lot. Rich Rebar, Ian Harditz, Kyle Yates was there this year. Justin Boone, obviously Matt Harmon, good friend of mine. It was just a great time. John Daigle, just a great time with great people. And now I need to name everyone because I feel bad. Andy Behrens, Jim Coventry, Brad Evans was there. It's a good time. Jeff Ratcliffe. Tell us about meeting Deeb and B-Rad. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, oh look, here's Jason. What's going on, man? I love a Jahmyr Gibbs Monday. Pretty chalk so far in this draft. Harold Fannon's mom was not there this year. No, unfortunately, we don't have Harold Fannin mom lore this season. But so for those of you who don't know, B-Rad, one of our members at Late Round, he went to the expo last year. Yeah, someone said, so all the voices I listen to should be snotty soon. I hope I wasn't contagious. I mean, it had been a minute since and I wasn't nearly as bad last week as it was the week before that. B-Rad's a member of the Late Round community, and he was my fans classic, because last year I think they did a fans classic this year again, but I wasn't part of it, I guess. I don't know. But he was my fan, if you will, for the fans classic. He went to the expo. We hung out, and he drafted a team and represented Late Round and all that kind of stuff. And I've gotten tighter with B-Rad over the last few years, just from him being a member of Late Round. And he went through Charlotte once. We got lunch, that kind of stuff. Great dude. So B-Rad, and there's another member in the Late Round community named Deeb, who I like to call Deeb with a B because I had a typo once yelling at him in the Discord. And he's sort of like our he likes to tilt. He's a great member of the Discord. Very active / will speak his mind. We love Deeb. And I got to meet him IRL in Canton, and it was phenomenal. It was a really good time. That's what I mean. There's no real punchline to the story. That's really it. Jaquan, good to see you. Emo, did Kitchen survive the trip, or was he given the Late Round exit door? LOL. He survived. He did. You are Emo. You are not going to be the COO of Late Round Media. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. We got Gibbs. This is a chalky first couple of rounds. We'll see what goes on here. I actually, in the Kings Classic draft, which is a draft that Bob Lung, I think we're going to go Jeremiah Love and Rashee Rice at the turn here. It's pretty easy for me. So we do the Kings Classic that Bob Lung puts together. You guys can look at the SiriusXM account because they cover my draft that I'm in. It's like a relegation league. So this is my 4th year doing the Kings Classic. The first year I did it, I was in the lower league and ended up moving up after a year. And then this is my 3rd year in this other league. I won a champion. You do a snake draft and then you do an auction draft back to back in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you do a snake draft, you take a break and eat lunch, and then you do an auction draft with an auctioneer. And so the first year, so you have 2 leagues with the same people, right? And then there's like a point system for relegation. And so the first year I did it, the first year in the main league, I won the championship in the snake. And I've done 2 years that have completed in the big league that like SiriusXM covers it and all that kind of stuff. Haven't missed the playoffs in all 4 of those leagues that I've done. And so I drafted a snake in an auction on Saturday. And if you guys want to go see what those teams look like, one of them, go to the SiriusXM account on Twitter. You can see that they posted some of them. I'm not worried. Here's the thing. I'm not worried about Love because of the comments that Nathaniel Hackett had. I'm worried about Love because of Nathaniel Hackett. That's the bigger deal. As a big Waddle fan, do you think Devontae at the end of the 4th or Waddle in the 6th is a better keeper? I think it's probably Waddle just because it's a little bit cheaper, but it's not significantly different. Keeper questions are really difficult to answer because there's not like, I don't know what the opportunity cost is in keeping those guys at those costs. Like what is available in the 4th and what is available in the 6th. I honestly think that like part of the problem with fantasy analysis and keepers is that like we make too many assumptions and we're not actually giving people a process to make those decisions on their own. JJ's, I was leaving and you were with Harmon. I totally missed an opportunity to mention how cool it was to see Harmon from Yahoo. Look, guys, I don't know how else to say it. I say it differently every single time I say it. But I'm going to lean into the bit, of course. Also, do you guys think I should start selling the rope hats, the late round rope hats? No one's commented on it. We're going to try to get the Miami Vice themed late round shirt in the shop because Kitchen and I wore matching shirts the first night there and people were in love with that shirt. And so we are planning on selling it. There we go. We got one fresh hat. We are going to be selling that shirt. For the record, I'm not trying to profit off of merch. That's not the intent at all. So whatever it costs is essentially what we're selling for. Oh, the tumbler. Yeah. There's that was actually, the cup is from a friend who made it for me. They made me one a really long time ago, and then they made me another one whenever I hit 1,000 episodes for the podcast. JJ, if you could start your home redraft league with both Gibbs and Bijan, but next pick after starts in round 6 and up, would you take it? Full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. It's not that deep of a league. Would I do it? I don't know. I'd have to sit down and do the math. Probably. Yeah, I think Waddle's fine in that case. And like in a vacuum, you know, it's just hard to really know like what each keeper league kind of looks like. Has that question come up a lot, Scott? I haven't heard that question once. Why has that been in like YouTube video or live streams and stuff? All right, we're about to be on the clock here. We'll see what's available. Probably a wide receiver turn for us. I would have liked McLaurin, but I want to get a little bit more Evans, and I think we could pair with. We could pair Gibbs with JMO, skip on Adams. I'm fine with that. We'll just do that. We'll go Evans and JMO. I don't have a ton of I need more Evans. I'm not like going crazy for JMO right now, but I don't, I think that since I finally have Gibbs, I'll pair him and see what I can do with the Detroit stack. Dude had asked that Bijan Gibbs question on every streamer's channel this summer. Well, good for him for getting it out there. Emo, I believe I locked in a time slot for the Toxic Tower. I'll be doing that show soon. Would you consider going Gibbs and Bijan in an auction and then shop in? I mean, if you can do that, if you can get guys in the wide receiver 20 to 30 range, like if you can get 3 of them with Bijan and Gibbs, yes. I try. So I did that auction draft with the Kings Classic, as I said. One of the hardest auctions I've ever done, because I went in and I said, I don't need to force it with because like the Kings Classic, you start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 3 flex, and then a tight end. So it's a deep starting lineup, and it's a 14-teamer. So it's very deep rosters, right? So I didn't feel the need to go stars and scrubs in the traditional way, right? Like Andy Barons went Puka Nacua and Jamar Chase. His team actually didn't end up that bad in my opinion. But it was risky to do. It's risky to do that, and he would say the same thing. So I didn't get any traditional first round picks. I got Kenneth Walker and Derrick Henry as sort of like, anchors at running back, and then I kind of punted RB3 with like backups because we're drafting in late July and things can happen right up until the season starts. And so my RB3 sucks, but then I wanted to get a lot of usable wide receivers to because it's a deeper roster. So I ended up like really wanting to target the range that I talk about all the time on these live streams, like where you get to Devontae Smith, Ibuka, Zay, all the way to Christian Watson, basically. And I tried to go after those guys, but a lot, I'm in a relatively sharp room. I say relatively just because I want to talk junk to the other analysts out there. But it's a sharp room. And so other people were doing the same thing. And I didn't give in too much. I got Garrett Wilson at a discount compared to other guys in that range, but I got a lot of guys like Garrett Wilson. I'm not high on Garrett Wilson, but I got players like that in that draft where I'm like fine with them in season long this year. Like I have a lot of T Higgins in best ball, but I wasn't planning on getting a ton of them in season long necessarily. I drafted him and I paid a lot for him because I knew where the tier was about to drop, and I realized that there were like 3 other teams that also recognized that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to remember these $6 in auction dollars, 24 hours from now. So I got to just do this. But my team ended up being like I walked away. I was like, this is kind of a mid team. And then SiriusXM posted the results of the auction, and like there's been like 5 responses, and 3 of them said that I had the best team. So I thank those 3 people for making me feel a lot better about a draft where I was kind of iffy on. But it was because I got like Jaden Reed, Carnell Tate, and Brian Thomas as like my 4, 5, 6 wide receivers. And in a deep starting lineup, it's helpful to have that. This is a very, very chalky draft, and I'm a little bit upset about it. I really wanted it to not be this way after getting Gibbs. I wanted to just have like a Gibbs super team, You guys can, like I said, you can go back if this is in relation to the draft. Go check out SiriusXM's Twitter feed. I got to keep this screen up for this draft. All right, so Jadarian Price goes. I mean, we can be flexible here. It's just not, there's no falling value. I'm not going to double tap quarterback. All right, Jaden Daniels goes. I don't want to take QJ, man. The QJ stuff, I don't understand why his ADP's right here. I think we just go Warren and Jalen Hurts. We have a bring back for Hurts with Mike Evans. But this is also a Purdy range. What do you guys think? I'll go Jalen Warren first. Do you guys think I go Hurts or should I pair him with Metcalf? I'm not that high on Metcalf. Go for a Tucker Kraft. Because this is like a spot where I could 49ers stack next. I'm leaning Hurts. I'm keeping Hurts in the queue. All right, we're gonna go Hurts. You never know. You know, there could be a random Purdy that goes. And then that way we got some flexibility, maybe get some wideouts next round. This is a very, very like it's a strong draft room. Like no one's doing anything wild and crazy, which makes it a little bit tilting. Although this Matthew Stafford pick, he could have probably waited till 8-10. Take all the quarterbacks though, man. I got Hurts. Give me some wide receiver values dropping. It's so weird though. I have QJ as a player to target in the or as a late round dart throw in the draft guide because he's a dart throw territory on some managed season long platforms, but his ADP is just so high in best ball. So like I understand the thesis of QJ. I personally I have so much more Trey Harris. I have a lot of Trey Harris. I remember sharing my exposure with Kitchen one day. And he was like, "Why do you have 18% Trey hair? A lot of Trey at that time. I think I have like 13% now, but I had a good amount of Trey Harris." I hate the turns from the early slots so much more than from the late slots. I don't know. I think I like the early slots more, only because yes, the 1-2 turn looks pretty good, but I don't mind the 2-3 turn. I think there's a drop off from like Pickens, Rice, even Jeremiah Love to like some of the wide receivers over here. And then I do think the 1-2 turn is strong for sure. I mean, there's good running backs to choose from. But then like the 3-4, there's not that big of a gap between the 4-5 than the 3-4. Like the 3-4, I get Luther Burden. I've gotten Luther Burden in this area frequently over here in the 4-5 area. And then yes, I do agree that like there are oftentimes you're in a pickle at 6-7, but you run into the same problem at 7-8 in this turnover here. So I don't know. I personally still like the getting Gibbs, Bijan type pick. The worst spot for me, like I mean, I've gotten the 110 so much, and I just don't love it. I don't love like the 109. So yeah, but you can get pretty creative at most spots this year, which is nice. Tell you what, that drive back yesterday. Yeah, look at this. Holy crap, JJ got 101. I drove back yesterday from Canton. It's a 6.5 hour drive, and that was a not fun drive. I think I'm gonna fly next year if I'm able to go, because that car trip is just after hanging out, going to bed real late, getting 5 hours of sleep a night. Not great. Drafting a quarterback at 7-8 turn feels so much better for me. Yeah, but the problem is that the 7-8 turn is like the T-Law, Justin Herbert, whereas the 6-7, you're getting Jane Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Drake May falls. To me, they're just better fantasy quarterbacks. And I like both Herbert and Lawrence. They're both targets for me this year. I'm just saying, like, I think there's a reason. I think it's a reasonable gap, if you will. This is one of those instances where Purdy's going to be sitting there, but it might be a force Goff situation at the 8-9 turn, because I don't really want to stack the same game for week 17, and I have more Lion pieces. This makes me feel a lot better. Purdy gets drafted to a team without any 49ers. That's good. We need some wild stuff going on. All right, we're coming up on our pick soon. I don't have like a ton of Laporta. I might honestly even pass if he's sitting there because I want to build the wide receivers out a little bit more. We're still only at 3. I don't want to fall behind, too far behind at the position. Look at Chuba Hubbard falling though. Just kidding. He got drafted. All right. People are going to say this is the wrong thing to do, but I think I'm going to go Josh Downs instead of Laporta because of the way that just tight end works in best ball and what we can get later. And then I think I'm going to force it with Goff with the next pick for the build, even though, oh my God, T-Law is sitting right there. Oh, what do we do, guys? Do we go Trevor Lawrence? I'm putting Goff in the queue for what this team needs. I'm just going Goff. I'm going Goff. Oh, T-Law was the cover boy. I should have gone T-Law. No, I think, look, I want this to be smooth with me having not gotten a lot of Gibbs. That's why I did it. I played it safe. I needed it to be smooth, given that I don't have a ton of Gibbs exposure right now. But I did want to get like Downs. I'm happy about because we needed some wide receiver help just to get a 4th. I didn't want to really get a Laporta. With how the DK final is, you kind of have to go Goff there. Yeah. I've seen T-Law fall in some of these drafts just because when you get like a sharper room, which I think this is a sharper room from like a stacking perspective and stuff, you'll often get like quarterbacks falling whenever, the Jags teams don't do it. But look, anyone in the comments that's like watching this and wants to like hate on that pick, I'm not, I do think that was a very clear 50-50 for me. I like T-Law a lot more straight up than Goff, but I think the Lions offense might be great, like sick this year given their schedule. But regardless of that, I really want to like have a solid stack that I don't really have to worry about. I could have gone Patrick Mahomes there too, which probably would have been even more defensible than like that. That's another. I was just very focused on getting a stack that I don't have enough of with the Lions there. Hardest thing is to balance when to take value or when to avoid it to take you out of structure or block. Yeah, exactly. With already having Hurts, I think it's better to go for the stack. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, is that like I have naked Hurts right now. And so like I'm going to have to be playing that game later on where I'm going to have to like force some Eagles or an Eagle. And I might not like if I'm doing that and like battling with the Jags, that also becomes really difficult as your team building. At least now, like we completed a stack and we can at least feel good about that and be done with it. Hard to have bringbacks with the Lions, just given how expensive Bears players are, but someone said, can you discuss Mike Evans versus Christian Watson decision? I think they're like similarly tiered. But I want a little bit more Evans. I've been buying into Evans a little bit more. Touchdown upside's obviously there. If he's healthy, I think he should be fine. I don't really know. I don't really know like how to frame this. I think they're both fine. Christian Watson, I think, is a better target in like season long where he goes later. But I like Watson a lot too. Yeah, I talked about the drafts from the expo. If you want to rewind a little bit and go back, 2 1 stack quarterbacks through the first 100 picks in the millie doesn't feel optimal. That's kind of why I think my subconscious was like, nah, I'm not gonna play into this. We'll see what's here in the. But here's another thing: like if Jackson Dart falls to 120, I'll take him. You know, there goes Dart. The Purdy team that took him naked did get Kittle, which was strong. This is a good like a sharp room. I do hate this part of the draft because I feel like a lot of the wide receivers, like Shaheed or Diggs, should be up here more. This could be a quick tight end double tap. I could go Goddard, Kelsey, and get my olds. I mean, like I said, there's just not much else going on. Let's get Goddard, Kelsey. Kelsey pairs with Rashee Rice. Goddard pairs with Jalen Hurts. Don't have a lot of Kelsey, but I didn't last year either, and that was probably not. I mean, it wasn't like a huge deal. Does the Mahomes quote talking about running less and feeding Kenneth Walker more give you any hope that he gets more receiving work, or is that a reach? What, Kenneth Walker getting more receiving work? I mean, I think Walker belongs in the big tier of running backs. Like I drafted him in that auction draft, like I said. I think I'm moving him up like a spot or two in my rankings this week. When you do more drafts, you kind of like realize how you do feel when you're like up on the clock and there's that tiebreaker, you know? And so that's why some of my rankings will change. Aside from, the obvious stuff of just like reports and what we're hearing and whatnot. This could be a dimes team. We'll see what this team. No, this team has Tyler Warren and Alec Pierce. That's unfortunate. Could be a Rodgers team. I do want one more just dart late. But we're in that position where we're balanced across the board, so we don't really need to force it with any position. I will do another draft though after this. We're gonna do 2 today. And then I gotta get my daughter's doing a theater camp the next 2 weeks. Gotta pick her up. I was away from the fam obviously this past weekend, and I got these. My daughter sends me videos. She'll be 8 this week. She's sending me these videos about how much she misses me, and like I'm like, God, so hard being a dad sometimes. How many slows do I have right now? Well, I knew I was going to be gone this weekend, and I had a vacation the week before, so I didn't know how much I was going to be able to check the phone. So I'm only in like 15 or so right now. Do you find that you end up in sharp rooms when you announce a live event? All your listeners might want to get in the room with you. No, not necessarily. I don't know how many. I mean, if any of you guys are listening to this and you're in this room, let me know. I want to see what spot you're in. I think this is a sharper room, but it's a room where sometimes in in like the ones where people will like know how to stack and stuff, you might not get amazing falling values unless like, the Trevor Lawrence type thing happens. Um, but you're able to complete stacks a little bit easier, which is nice. I still don't want to push it though. I don't want to force it to risk not getting a certain stack, especially at the turn. They won't say, they just want to snipe you. Maybe. I mean, I got 40th in the millie last year on a live stream, so It's definitely not gonna ruin me. Oh, dang, that team didn't get Daniel Jones. This team right here who had no, never mind. They got Likely. Okay. This is a team that needs a quarterback right here. If they don't get Dimes, they probably will. Oh, Cam Ward's there though too. Ooh, they did not. They got Bryce Young. Okay, so we're gonna take Daniel Jones as one of ours to pair with Josh Downs. And then probably look at a wide receiver. We could do a bring back Jalen Naylor. It's fine. I'm not drafting Pacheco. We'll go Dimes and Naylor. The solver thinks that was the right choice too. So we got our 5th wide receiver. We're done at quarterback. We paired Danny Dimes with Josh Downs. We paired Jared Goff with JMO and Gibbs, and we paired Jalen Hurts with Dallas Goedert. I mean, it's comforting having completed stacks in round 13 and being like knowing that you don't have to force the issue with certain stacks and you can just get the best values essentially. And at tight end, we'll just get a younger guy like a Terrence Ferguson or something who has some interesting upside. But it feels like a probably a classic like 3-5-9-3 or 3-6-8-3. I just like going 3 quarterback in general. That's what this question's asking. Like Hurts and Goff as a strongest quarterback room. I just like having that extra stack for injury purposes to get that advance rate higher, but also like I think there's something to be said about having that additional stack in the playoffs. I know that a lot of people, there's some people that like Liam, for instance, is Liam Murphy's Chess Liam is not as into a 3 quarterback build because he'd rather throw more darts at running back and wide receiver late or in this range. But to me, I'm looking at Daniel Jones pairing him with and having an extra stack throughout the season and in the playoffs versus wide receivers and running backs that have very low hit rates to begin with. So it's a safety move for sure. But I feel pretty good about the rest of the team enough that I think I could make that move and be cool with it. Hope everyone's doing well. I feel like as a live streamer, you have to be okay with silence sometimes, Just hanging out, watching the picks unfold. I just can't get behind Isaiah Pacheco. I like the talent profile isn't strong enough for me to feel confident that he's going to just naturally have that job no matter what throughout the season. And I could easily be wrong. What players differ the most between your redraft and best ball ranks? Well, the way that my best ball ranks work is that I have like a formula that I've built that incorporates ADP, incorporates like position value and all sorts of stuff and just takes my half PPR rankings and kind of converts it. So if a guy's high in my half PPR rankings, like he'll still be high in best ball rankings. But I do think that like when you're drafting, you should recognize like I have a take that I think best ball rankings are kind of worthless. Like you're using the rankings, in my opinion, to just generally see how a person might be viewing certain players and kind of like glean context, from that sort of context. But I'm just not, I just don't like, I think that like team build and being reactive and getting value, all that kind of stuff. If you're doing a decently high volume number, high number of these drafts, like rankings just aren't going to help you that much in the end. I think it might be more of a handcuff for you. Any new perspectives guests that you have lined up this year that you're excited about? So my perspectives guests, I'm lined up through most of August now. So I don't even have the season lined up yet at all. But I'm very excited about the next guest that comes out because I haven't been able to do as much stuff with him recently. I love Emmett Johnson as a prospect. I think he's fine as a pick. He fits this build. So we can go wide receiver, running back, or something around this turn. Let's see what's available. I'm not going to say anything out loud in case the 102 is listening. And then I'll get to some of these questions after this pick is made. Jonah Coleman. Okay. We're going to go. Man, Travis Hunter's falling a little bit here. I think we go Tesla and Dylan Sampson because Tesla gives us more of the Lions stuff. You know, a Sam Laporta injury for this team because I have Amon-Ra St. Brown injury helps that. And then Dylan Sampson. I have a lot of Travis Hunter in best ball. Mitchapalooza says, any memorable stories you're willing to share from the weekend? Meet Fannon's great aunt this year or something? Nothing like that. I mean, that was like once in a lifetime kind of story. No, I mean, like it was just a good time to hang out with people that, you know, you do shows with that you get to see every year. And some people that aren't there every year, like Ben Gretsch was there. I should have mentioned him earlier. It's really great to see Gretsch and talk to him, catch up with him. You know, it's just one of those things where like, you know, you have a weekend and with friends and you connect with them and have good conversation. And the thing that I have like really like realized why I enjoy that so much is that, you know, realistically, there's only so many people on this earth that like really can like understand what my job is like or like the kinds of like ups and downs that you go through as a person on the internet giving advice about fantasy football, right? And you know, I'm not trying to sound dramatic here. That's not my intent. I'm just saying that like, you know, like not everyone understands what it's like to do live streams in front of people or like do radio spots or do podcasting and putting your takes out there or like having communities and, you know, subscribers and stuff like that. So it's like a really cool time for me to pick people's brains and see where they're at with their businesses and, you know, just talk ball a little bit, you know, that kind of stuff. That's why I really enjoy that like get together. Because there are people that are kind of like going through a similar experience as you are, and you don't get to talk to them in that way day in and day out. After analyzing your best lineup from last season, number 40, what do you think made it so successful? I think that proper stacking and, you know, proper player evaluation helps, and then some luck. You need some luck, okay? That team had Kyle Pitts and Derrick Henry, right? So advance wise, you get the Kyle Pitts bump to get in the final week, and then Derrick Henry goes off. If anyone's gonna, if there's going to be an analyst that sits on here and says, I knew that was going to happen, they're full of crap, period. Like it's just it's a silly thing to boast about, you know? There was certainly luck involved, but also like that was a team that had CMC and Brock Purdy, and I bought into the 49ers last year. Like I bought into CMC. I was very high on him and was willing to draft him at a little bit above ADP, and that paid off, right? And so there's that angle to it too. Like I'm not saying that like I did nothing, and it was very well like stacked and stuff. The team was and had bringbacks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean like luck. You know, there's a luck factor here. There always will be. All right, I'm almost on the clock here. Emmett Johnson would be kind of interesting for this build. I Could go another wide receiver here. Jerry Jeudy pairs with Dylan Sampson. But obviously Jeudy gets drafted there. I gotta update my. I haven't uploaded my most recent CSV on here in a while. I think we just go with like some guys that we don't mind. Next, we'll see what. Okay, so I think we go Zach Branch and Ray Davis, and then we kind of push tight end and just kind of get a random one towards the end. Where did Terrence Ferguson go? He's been rising so much. Okay, he went 1608. I probably would have gotten T Ferg if he was there. And obviously I really wanted Dontavian Wicks. That would have been nice too. But yeah, this gives us some outs with I think Zachariah Branch can just give us some production at wide receiver and a gadgety type role. And then Ray Davis, could have upside if something were to happen to James Cook. He might get work naturally too. Would you go Kolar in the 20th round, third tight end in this build? Yeah, I mean, I think that he's at least like in a part of the consideration set. I haven't drafted a ton of Charlie Kolar though. I think that a lot, if you with beat reporters saying that he could have like a breakout season, you have to remember that like a breakout season for Charlie Kolar is like 400 yards, you know? Oh, Kayshon Boutte was a good pick there. I got to move him up my rankings a little bit because it sounds like it's not the trade thing. The trade stuff's not going to happen, but like, I just think that he has a natural place in that lineup as like their third wide receiver. I've had a lot of Kayshon Boutte though. Like I said, we'll do another draft after this. Hopefully we can wrap this one up quick. Him and ETR's established. Yeah, his series must. Yeah, it's the Gretsch related to Gretsch. And did you / the chat like the draft after when you asked for a grade? I think it was like an 8 out of 10 draft. There were parts of it where I was like I got Derrick Henry in that draft because I wanted more Henry. Like I had I think 6% Henry last year, so I was underweight. But that's part of like portfolio building and like trying to get where you want and pulling certain levers and being where you want to be with certain players, and it ended up paying off for me. He feels more wild play potential than Dobbs. Yeah, for sure. I don't think wild play potential is so necessary in best ball, but I do think that like Kayshon Boutte from a season long to best ball standpoint definitely is one where he's better in best ball because he's just not going to be predictable whatsoever in season long. Did you guys see the sweet shirts that Kitchen and I had? Emo, I feel you. I'm very tired. I'm not bored because I'm in the middle of this draft, but I am tired for sure. Pull up the picks. It's just hard because I'm screen sharing, Let me see if I can do something real quick. Let me see if I can go. I think I'm going to be on the clock soon. Yeah, hang on. Let's deal with this at another time. Okay? All right, Emo. It's your fault. Kitchen should be producing, if you ask me. Assistant to the COO. All right, we're not going Eli Stowers. I don't agree with that recommendation. I can go Evan Ingram. Who is... How many wideouts do we have? Okay. What kind of running backs are we looking at? Not many. George Halani. Do we go Evan Ingram, George Halani, and then just get a wideout last? No, I don't think we need to get Halani. I think we need wideouts. I think this is a 9 wide receiver team. Pat Bryant just got drafted. We can go Evan Ingram, Troy Franklin, and just pair up some Denver boys. I think we'll do that. I thought Keenan went through my head, and sometimes Keenan still goes at the end of drafts because people don't scroll enough. But you know I'm team Keenan. All right, let me see if I can do something real quick. Let me... Here we go. Let's see if this works. There we go. I'm on my vertical monitor. Look at this, though. Look at those shirts. Look at that. Don't you guys want one of those shirts? They're sweet. Right, Emo? That's what I'm saying. See? Nice. I like those. We also had me and Kitchen drinking some smoothies before we headed out. That was in my car right before our 6.5 hour drive. Does have Flacco's face in the back, otherwise I'm out. Here was the Kings Classic room that I was in. I could probably look at Sirius XM, or maybe I didn't retweet it and quote tweet it. Sorry about that. I won't do that right now then. All right, we're going to stop sharing that. We're going to share this draft again. And we're back. Yeah, light mode Twitter, Emo. You know that there's some people out there who can't handle dark mode. My eyes can't handle it. Just a light mode guy. Yeah. Light mode hat. Light mode Twitter. You're right. Dark mode shirt, though. Yes, this was draft number 4 of like 90 in the 101. Denny having FOMO, seeing you in kitchen sharing a smoothie. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't even think about that. Yin Yang drip today, JJ. Respect. I don't know. Do you guys want me to sell the rope hats too? These are pretty big unk hats. It's still too small for me though. My head's so like big. Not to brag, but I've done 1 milli and got the 101. Man. Yeah, man. We should call it the unk hat too. If we get a 101 in the other one, we are celebrating. We're celebrating hard. I actually like this team though. I think that it's built pretty well. We'll see what you guys graded. Start thinking about your scores here. Unk round QB. 5% consultant marketing fee. No. Late round Unk is better. Late round Unk took you a minute to get there, Emo, but you got there. Hat giveaway if 101 again. Maybe. All right. Okay. Well, I'll give away. I will give away a draft guide to one of you guys in here if I get the 101 in the next draft. Keenan Allen got drafted. I was hoping he would just be there. It's called a brainstorming sesh. Yeah. I don't know why George Holani is highlighted. Let's look at some wideouts. You know who I kind of want just for fun? Caleb Douglas. Because we have Ray Davis. There's no one that I really care about for, or we can go like a Xavier Thomas. That's actually probably a better pick. And Caleb Douglas just got drafted anyway. What did you call? Oh, I didn't even see you said Caleb Douglas. There you go. I already have the guide. I request a hat and shirt. Well, here's the thing. The guide is digital. It's a lot easier for me to get it to you. All right. I will also do it if I get Gibbs at the 102. Deal. I'll also do a giveaway if that happens. Done deal. You know, one of the coolest things being at the expo and talking to fans and stuff was that one of the sentiment NFT of the hat. Yeah. Yeah, sure. You get a late round hat. Here's a picture of it. One of the cool things was that, like, I swear when people tell me that they listen to the podcast and they, you know, a lot of people are like, I like the short nature of it, whatever, you know, I love the data heaviness and, you know, the process, blah, blah, blah. But one of the cool things too, we're going Xavier Thomas with the last pick as a bring back for the Lions stuff. All right. Before I get into all that, I want to recap this team. You guys got to rate it out of 10. I want honesty. Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashee Rice, Jeremiah Love, Mike Evans, JMO to pair with Gibbs, Jalen Warren, Jalen Hurts, Josh Downs, Jared Goff to get us the Lions stack. Travis Kelce pairs with Rashee Rice. Dallas Goedert pairs with Jalen Hurts. Daniel Jones pairs with Josh Downs. Jalen Naylor, Isaac Tesla for the Lions stack. Dylan Sampson, he's a bring back for the Colts. Zach Branch, Ray Davis, Evan Ingram, Troy Franklin as a random Broncos one, and then Xavier Thomas as a bring back for that Lions game. Give me your scores out of 10 as I go navigate to another. I guess I'm only in like 8 right now, 8 slows. We'll go to another Millie. 8.2. Hard not to give a stack Gids team anything lower than an 8, so 8.8. I like that. I'll take that. 8.1, weak at wide receiver, but a good Gibbs team, 7.7. Look, we're walking away with a usable Gibbs team. Do you know how important that is for my portfolio? A usable Gibbs team. That's all I want. That's all I need. But yeah, I think maybe we go a little bit more wide receiver heavy in this one. We'll see what the draft shows us and gives us. We got the 108, not the 110. I agree with the JMO take. Boring but solid is exactly how I would describe that team too. So we're in the 108. No one's getting a draft guide. However, maybe we'll still do a draft guide giveaway at some point. Okay. Okay, guys. The first person to predict who the 2-6 is going to be, okay? And I'll look back in chat. The first person who says the name of the 206, so the 18th overall pick right here, right next to me, will get. Oh, we got someone who's in the 103. All right, someone says Kenneth Walker. The problem is I'm going to take Walker probably if he's there. The first person to say, okay, we got. Okay. This is probably a really bad idea. Now I got to like start writing this down. You know what? I'm just going to scroll back. That's it. I'm just going to scroll back. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Whoever the 206 is, if you said that player's name and you're the first person to say it, you'll get a draft guide. Nico Collins. That's a Thank you, Emo. The assistant to the COO will be helping figure out who the person who picked or who named the player is. You guys are the fun part about this too is that you guys are gonna sweat my pick too because I'm right next to the 206. I didn't want it to be my pick because I could influence it more, but there's certain players that if they're there, I'm gonna obviously pick. Oh my gosh, if we had the 102, we could have gotten Gibbs. Eden Cohen just sitting here thinking about taking Jamar Chase over Jahmyr Gibbs. What if I did like commentary on the entire draft that way? It'd be so awful. It's like play by play of a best ball draft. Sounds horrible. I'm probably going to go wide receiver here. But I don't want it to be, I don't know. I might get really weird with this draft. I'm in a mood right now. Entire commentary would be horrible. I think that's what Tony Squares is going to be doing when he wins So You Think He Can Tout. That's the game plan. I might go Jonathan Taylor and just get a little bit more in my portfolio. I've been fading him. You know what? We're going to go James Cook. No. We're going CeeDee Lamb. We'll get a little funky. I need more Lamb. Everyone's going to be sitting there saying, why did you do that? JJ, what are you doing? I'm having fun, guys. That's what I'm doing. What if Lamb is the one you need? What if he's the guy you need week 17? I thought you'd like that, Emo. Yeah, you got to live a little. Fun is 2019, JJ. This is 2026. It's all Sims and Biz, no fun league. It's gonna be a wild draft. It probably won't be, but we'll see. I wanted to get wide out. Okay, here's the reason I did that. I wanted a wide out there because I'm probably gonna get a running back in round 2, and I don't want to be. I need closer exposure with Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. And since I've gotten the 110 a lot, I've gotten a lot of J. Jeff, and I'm trying not to be like super overweight there because I think there is some volatility, and obviously CeeDee Lamb has a better ecosystem and offensive situation. So I just wanted to go that route. That's all it was. Kenneth Walker got drafted, so anyone who said Kenneth Walker, you were wrong. I told you we're going to get weird, though. Remember, be prepared for weirdness because that weirdness has led us to A.J. Brown. And I'm drafting wide receiver to get a little bit of a different build here. It was Derrick Henry. Okay, it was Derrick Henry, guys. Who had Derrick Henry? Who was the first person? Did anyone say Henry? Hampton, AJ Brown, Halani. Oh, what? Bumblebee. This is what I got. I need my assistant to the COO to confirm if this is the winner. Yep, Bumblebee. All right, Bumblebee. Email david@lateround.com and say, hey, Kitchen, first off, get back to work. Second, I deserve a draft guide because I said Derrick Henry. No, I said 206 because it was the one right after my pick. It was the 18th overall pick. That's where you're probably thinking about the 18 part. Include the secret word. What is the secret word, Kitchen? I love that Kitchen's just been sitting here listening just for his name to be dropped. All right, is this the secret word is king? All right, Bumblebee, use the word king somewhere in the email. Guessing the secret word is Yahoo. Okay, can we just go through the Yahoo thing? I just said it right there, right? Yahoo? Is that fine? Are you guys cool with that? Because I can't be in my head so much now that everyone's pointing it out and making fun of me. Yahoo. 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 That's fine, right? Yahoo. Is that bad? It's really getting to me. Say it like Mario now. Yahoo! I can't do it. Not, especially not. I'm blaming my congestion on that. Yahoo. 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 Wait. The Mario impression? You guys are giving me props for the Mario impression? Oh my gosh. What a world. Do we reach for Javante? Of course not. Of course we don't do that. We draft. I mean, Kyron Williams is past ADP, and I don't have a ton of them. No one else is really like lighting a fire under me here. We'll go Kyron. It's fine. What is no, Kitchen? You can't just say no. I don't know what that means. You saying no about Kyron Williams because I'm finally getting exposure to him? Oh, I forgot Neighbors. Yeah, that was dumb. I should have got Neighbors. Thanks for chiming in, Kitchen. Appreciate it, buddy. Way to be ahead of it for me. I need more Neighbors because I was mostly fading. Although I still am not going to be as high as the market and Bowers. I need to update the ranks is what needs to happen. It's a little bit of a delay, yes, but that should give enough time to still chime in. And we are going to go wide receiver in this next pick, probably. It's a pretty good value in Brees. Oh, if Javante's there, we'll take Javante. Yeah, we're going to take Javante. I don't have a lot of them. And I have CD. Like I said, this is going to be a weird draft. Taking guys I don't usually take. I can't believe you guys think that the Mario impression was. I'm gonna have to play that back. Yeah, I agree with with this Neighbors take. I do kind of want to be at like. I wish I was at like 3 or 4% right now, but I think I'm at like 2. It's all about commitment, not so much execution, JJ, but it was a solid Mario. Yeah, I have not enough Neighbors. It's a problem. I'm a little bit mad at myself for the lack of CLV I'll have there. But hey, doesn't mean that he's going to dominate. Yeah, it was a bad pick. The not going Neighbors was stupid. Especially because I got a guy that I don't even like. I'm not like high on, or sorry, that I'm not high on with Kyron. So yes, I do have some regrets. But it makes you stronger, you know? Slam the like. That's right. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel. I just put your Mario clip on my soundboard. Weren't you Mario for Halloween one year? I was. The family, actually, you know what? I gotta pull that up because it's so freaking hilarious. Uh my son, who was not even a year old, this would have been 2023, was Toad. And it was a phenomenal costume. And I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so you guys can see how hilarious it is. Because there's one picture that we always joke about and share. Look at this. Ready for this, guys? Look at him as Toad. It's adorable. All right, I got to make a pick. All right, what are we looking at here? Christian Watson, done. Feeling good about that pick. You know what? This is what I'm saying, Commissioner Jerry Jones. What if Kyron is my Derrick Henry from last year, and this is the team? Oh, baby. Logan, the challenge season 42 coming up next week. You watching? And if so, who are you rooting for? Yes, I'm watching. I'm rooting for the OGs. Any OG. Bananas, CT, Tory. Tory's kind of an OG at this point. What if Neighbors is like Derrick Henry from last year? I don't know, Kitchen. Thought you were supposed to be supportive in your role. Yeah, that picture is great. We also did here's the family one. All of us. My daughter was Princess Peach that year. And I was Mario. My wife was Luigi. I think Bananas is great for television, and I've grown to love him because he knows exactly what he's doing in terms of being a narcissist, and he's good for television. I like Bananas the way that I like emo, and so you think you can tout. You know, just good for the show. Gonna be cocky about it? Great. You need to be. There needs to be a little bit of that. We need more good for TV folks, I've often said, says Emo. If Emo is saying I need empathy and support training, that's what, because Emo said we got to send Kitch to empathy and support training, it seems. All right, we're going Drake May. We are pairing Drake May with AJ Brown. Look, guys, say what you want. Yes, I would have liked Neighbors there, but I don't think this is that bad of a start. Okay. JJ, if one of your viewer wins the Millie this year and not in the FF content space, would you consider having that person be on the Best Ball Bro pod? Sure. If they win the Millie, they can come on the pod. Yes. Yes. If one of you guys watching this wins the Millie, you get a spot on Best Ball Bro. What I was gonna say earlier, and I didn't finish, it was great that I don't think I did at least. One of the pieces of feedback, so many people love becoming a Best Ball Bro. I didn't like I don't always think about Best Ball Bro as being that key for people in terms of list, like like differentiated outside of like, and like I know it's a different show because we're talking best ball, but people really like it, and it's cool to see that. Like we had Ben Solak, we met him at the Super Bowl this year, and he was saying that he listens to it, and I was like, holy crap, that's awesome because I watch your stuff and you're awesome. Thank you guys. I do appreciate it. I wasn't like fishing for compliments there, but I will take the compliments. It's just really cool. Oh, someone took Dak. The Pickens team took Dak. When becoming a Best Ball Bro reality TV show with JJ as host? Just completely so you think you can Best Ball Bro? There's no comma there. That's the title. So you think you can Best Ball Bro? Not so you think you can Best Ball Bro? Thank you guys. I know that I'm like speaking to the demographic right now because you're watching me do a draft on stream. So I know that. I'm going to look at my exposure to Neighbors. It's bad. I need to get more. Yeah, it's about 2%. I was just fading, waiting for the price to change, and it just didn't. And he obviously got the positive report. So I'm hoping for that negative report. Okay, I'm on the clock again. Tucker Kraft looks good to me with Christian Watson. I played zero best ball before best ball, bro. SYTYCBBB. It's funny, back in the day, I don't know. Alec Pierce, I mean, I a lot of it's the injury, I'm assuming. But I actually like thought that I was gonna be really, really low on him versus the market this year because I just don't think he's like quite as good as people do. 6'11 though is actually earlier than he typically goes. Love my draft until I force Metcalf. Yeah, you're in the 3. Still a usable squad. My wife used to watch Do You Think You Can Dance back in the day. And I saw it. There was the theme song. Now it used to always say SYTYCD. So you think you can dance. And so now when with so you think you can tout, I do the same thing, but with T. Does anyone know, Emo, do you know when the last episode is gonna drop? Maybe we just go really heavy Green Bay here. Nope. Okay. Well, do we go Harvey? Do we go Pitt? I kind of want to not fall back at wide receiver. We'll go Pittman. Gives us another stack to potentially get later. I don't want to go Harvey. We have 2 running backs. It's fine. Could have brought it back though. There's enough Denver stuff though that you can get late. It's interesting that like I feel like I've seen more people being pro Harvey. I'm pro Harvey in season long more than I am best ball. I think Pittman's a great fit for Rodgers. I think he's going to see a lot of the shorter stuff in the offense. I have him ranked ahead of DK Metcalf in my season long rankings. Full PPR platform. Not that it's that big of a deal in terms of projection, but doesn't hurt. Yeah, I think Harvey is one of those cases of I do think that his floor is pretty scary. So I'm probably not going to be like massively overweight in best ball. I think he's fine in best ball. But he's the type of player where people are going to not be in on him in season long managed leagues, especially home leagues. You'll get him in like the 9th round. And the hit rates in that range are so poor to begin with. I don't know why you wouldn't take a chance on a second year guy in ambiguous backfield who catches passes. That's basically what, if you were to dumb down the ambiguous backfield stuff, that's what you want. And I was very anti Harvey to start the offseason. Like very anti Harvey. I sent that tweet out today that said, just here to remind you that despite what Twitter says, you're not dumb for liking Luther Burden in fantasy this year. You're also not dumb for not liking his price. No one is right or wrong. There are many possible outcomes. It'll be okay. And I've gotten multiple people be like, oh wow, you're not taking a stand at all on this and blah 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 blah. All right, here we go. Let's look at this. I don't want to force that quarterback. I don't think. I think I'd rather. I don't want Blake Corum. Um, this is saying Jordan Love. You're taking him over some good quarterbacks though, and we already have May. I might go Kittle. That was a little off the beaten path, but this could be a 2 tight end build. And let's just cross our fingers that there's enough insulation at quarterback that we still get Jordan Love in the next round. But like, it's so funny that people think I'm not taking a stand. Anyone who listens to my content knows exactly how I feel about Luther Burden. Like, I've let it be known for 2 years now. So good job outing yourself as someone who just doesn't listen to my content, which is fine. You don't have to, but don't be a jerk about not taking a stand. Don't think you're getting me. All I'm saying is that, like, I think the problem we have in the fantasy space is that people just fire off these takes with no substance, and they feel like they have to take these stands. And while they're doing it, they're calling everyone who disagrees with them idiots in the way that they frame things. And it's so stupid. It's just so dumb. There are so many outcomes here. I like Luther Burden a lot, right? You guys know this. I really like Luther Burden. But it would be so idiotic for me to sit here and not understand the downside case. Of course I understand the downside case of Luther Burden. See, and then like I agree about this for, like, it's Twitter, there's no room for rational commentary. You're supposed to, engagement bait, whatever. And I don't disagree that that's like where Twitter is now, but like I still think that, like, I want to do my job to, like, try to cultivate the best experience people can have with fantasy football. I swear to God, if this guy takes Jordan Love. Okay. All right. So that worked. We got it. We got like a good value play. I think Kittle's just going to keep rising. It's an interesting build. I told you I was going to get weird. But like, I want, fantasy Twitter used to be like a place where people would like go on and on about like with like their analysis and stuff. Now it's just like, you're an idiot if you don't see why AJ Brown is a great pick this year. It's like, what are you doing? Go look at the successful analysts in this space and tell me how many of them are combative on Twitter and our engagement farming on Twitter. It's just crazy to me. Wow, just at me, bro. No, you don't do any of that stuff on Twitter. Like, I will openly criticize Thread Bros. What's it matter to me? I think it's just silly. The stuff where it's like, I told you to draft this guy last year. Now here's who you should draft this year. It's like, all right, buddy. I'm sure you've never been wrong. And yeah, some people fall for it. And yeah, they grow a bigger following doing it. But they also got to look themselves in the mirror every morning and say, I got to make another thread on Twitter where I'm just baiting people. Do the big platforms publish changes their ADP formulas anywhere? Not necessarily the formula, but release notes, basically. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What you mean by ADP formulas? Tell you who I haven't drafted a lot of. That's Jake Ferguson. ESPN's AAV changed this year, and I have no idea about any of that. All right, let's get Jordan Mason, who I was drafting a lot more before his ADP rose a little bit, but I still like him at the, back half of the 11th. RB3. Got guys who are not catching a lot of passes, though, at running back here. Quietly removing Jake Ferguson from Q. I mean, look, Jake Ferguson is not anything special as a talent and was really not good when Lamb and Pickens were healthy last year. Let's see what the wideouts look like. I do like this range of wideout when you get like Shaheed and Diggs. But we'll see who's available. I'm not going likely because I already have a couple tight ends. I'll get one in like the last round. I'm sorry if you've said this, but where can we find the updates made to the draft guide? You should be getting emails every Friday with the update of the guide. But if you have the original link that you downloaded the guide with, that will download the most updated guide immediately. So you have to download it every time that you want the updated guide, but it's once a week, and there's an update tracker on there that literally tracks what those updates are. There goes Jake Ferguson. I wanted Diggs. Diggs would have been great for this team. Could go Tracy. I actually haven't drafted as much Tracy as I expected. We'll go Tracy here. He's a bring back for the Dallas guys. We need some wideouts though. Look at us just filling this in though. The draft capital allocation. Yeah, no problem. What do I do if I accidentally uploaded my draft guide to a fantasy website and has over 100,000 downloads? Well, my legal team will be coming after you. That would not be great. So we don't have a QB3, but we do have Michael Pittman. I'm assuming that was a troll comment. Emo and Sons Law LLC is on your ass. Yeah. I mean, look, I'll just hit up Jacob Sanderson. Right? Be like, yo, quit doing what you're doing. Help a brother out. No, but if you did that, I would absolutely get representation because there's language in that document to not do that. I remember last year there was a dude who tried to share like week 2 or something like that. He was pissed off at my targets and avoids because they weren't hitting enough for him when it was week 2. And then after he did that, all these guys started to hit in that section. It's like never going to be perfect. There was one year though where I'm never going to have a year of the draft guide. It was the Puka year where my late round dart throws, I like literally every late round pick that hit that year was basically part of that section. Yeah, that Reddit thread was insane. It was crazy. I mean, a lot of people were backing me up, and it was fine. Like I wasn't like, it wasn't like that big of a deal, but I defended myself. If someone's gonna go out there and like start saying stuff about your product and I think that you have every right to say, like, hey, here's why I disagree with what you're saying here, All right. Um, I don't need to force it. Let me see what really quick what the I might go Aaron Rodgers here. Cam, we're going who can we stack? Calvin Ridley later. Gunnar Helm. We'll go Cam Ward. Um, but yeah, like give it to the end of the season, at the very least. You don't have to, like, and I'm gonna miss stuff, obviously, but it was just a funny little thing. I don't want to go Hunter Henry because I already have two tight ends, and I'm gonna try to hopefully get Gunnar Helm and at least have flexibility there. I want to boost up wide receiver here. It's a tough time for wideouts in this range. Could go Debo and just take a chance. Get him a little bit early. I'm not very high on Jawan. Reddit's very hit or miss, but especially if it's all results driven with no nuance, it gets so bad. Yeah, I mean, look, Reddit's been really good to me. I like the folks on Reddit and like um I'm not complaining about that. What does frustrate me is when people, like I when they're results oriented after like 3 weeks of the season. There's going to be some seasons where I'm worse than others, and some of the picks are going to be bad, some of them are going to be good, whatever. Uh, and I get that. All right, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get tight end here. I really want wide receiver. It says to get Calvin Ridley for the stack, but I'm going to go Debo because I think we can get Ridley later. It's kind of a dead spot in the draft. Um, but yeah, like if I write all this stuff on strategy and game theory for that takes up the bulk of the work. Is this by the way, is this a David Kitchen Avi? Does that look like Kitchen, you guys? That's not working. That didn't work well. And now all of a sudden Solver's not working. All right, I'm going to refresh. Didn't it look like him? Is that Kitchen? Here, copy image address. Does that work? It's Kitchen. It's absolutely Kitchen. You guys need to see this. Hang on. Ready for this? That's Kitchen. Why is this in the draft room? What is going on? Who among us is in there with a David Kitchen Abbey? I need to know. I need to know. That's hilarious. Kitchen, I hope you're still watching. I'm gonna message him right now. Jaden Blue, 1501. Dang, Aaron Rodgers is still out there. I want to check out Gunnar Helm here, maybe. Hopefully he gets to us. All right. We're going Gunnar Helm. We got our stack, and we got to bring back with that stack with Michael Pittman. So Cam Ward, Gunnar Helm. And that's paired with Kittle and Kraft. We got some good tight ends on this team. I don't think this team is that bad. Although I do think that the picking neighbors would have been better for my portfolio for sure. Can't believe someone has a kitchen avatar in this draft. Also, I should say, shout out to our friend Jamie, just balling with Jay. Gave us here, I'll show you in a sec. Let me get it. Gave us me and Kitchen both gifts when we got to the expo this year. Last year we bought a couple of designs of he draws and does art, and we bought a couple of them. I have them on my laptop case, and we promoted him a little bit over the last year, and he wanted to thank us, and he got us a gift. I'm on the clock. Should we go Stribling? Let's go Stribling. Oh, Kayshawn Booty. Oh, we're going Booty. Let me get him. Yeah. We'll pair Booty with Drake May and AJ Brown. But he wanted to gift us something, so he thoughtfully gave Kitchen a Carnell Tate one and me a Jordan Tyson one, knowing that I'm a Jordan Tyson guy, and it's sick. It's awesome. Super cool. So shout out to him. Just balling with Jay. JJ, I got to show you what I just ordered to wear to the ship chasing meetup in Austin. Yes, please. I hope that experience. I hope there are great stories from that. I just saw it. NSFW, if you will. All right, let's see what we're looking at. Kind of running backs and wideouts. I mean, if Calvin Ridley's there still, I'll get him. You could go Sean Tucker as a Kyron bring back. Nick Singleton as a dart. For our, I'll keep Singleton down though. He falls more. There goes Ridley. Darnell Mooney. Pair with Tyrone Tracy and be a bring back for some of the Dallas guys. I might go the Mooney route, actually. Or we go Tank Dell for the Packers bring back. Let's do that. I haven't drafted a ton of Dell, but live a little, right? Look at, you're not a Mooney guy, Emo? I have a soft spot for Mooney. We got a podcast dropping tomorrow that I still have to edit on early season schedule analysis. So hopefully you guys tune in for that. Basically breaking down some easy and hard early season schedules for players. I'm going to edit that right after this draft, and then I got to get my daughter. Surprised you grabbed Booty over Ridley there. Feel like Booty would have been available with the last pick. I mean, not right now. He's been steamed up a little bit because of the camp reports. I saw him go. I think he was a 17th rounder in the last draft. I also don't care about 16 to 20 ADPs, generally speaking. But I think it's becoming clearer that Booty is sticking around in New England. And I think he's not a bad player. I liked him as a prospect. But yeah, I mean, there's a hypothetical world where I could have gotten Booty and Ridley, but I didn't care for Ridley like so much, over some of the other guys. I think I'm going to go Singleton here. We get more of that Tennessee stuff. We get a running back that we need, and he's going in that range with these other rookie backs. So we have a double stack with Jordan Love and a bring back. We have Drake May with a AJ Brown and Kayshon Boutte. So we have 3 double stacks. I mean, we have a big Titans stack now because we got or bigger. We got the running back. I need to update my rankings on here. Upload the CSV. There is updated rankings on lateround.com. I just haven't downloaded it in like 3 weeks. Chandler, thank you for another amazing draft guide. Getting married September 12th, so lots going on. I appreciate making the research a lot easier for me this year. Chandler, congratulations on the marriage, brother. That's awesome. Where are you getting married at? I mean, not like specific. Like what? Like, are you? Is it a big wedding? I'm not trying to crash it. I'm not trying to dox you here. Talk to me about the plans. We're not very chatty on this Monday. We usually have a lot more going on in chat. That's fine though. I feel you. I'm recovering. Too many Titans in this team? No, I mean I got Cam Ward. I got 3 Titans and a bring back with Michael Pittman. Small intimate wedding on our family farm. That's very cute. That's awesome. We can go Jalen Knoll too with Tank Dell. Or we could just get we need another wide receiver. Oh, this is please be available. Wait. Dang it. Someone took Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's always my go-to when the 19th hits. When did Keenan Allen go? Where did he get drafted? Oh, 17th round. All right. We're going to make a pick. I think we go running back, wide receiver. But there's not that much going on at running back. Let's take Troy Franklin again. I guess I got another Troy. I haven't even been drafting him that much. We'll go Franklin as a bring back for New England. Ooh, the NC Mountains. So out in the you out in like the Asheville area? You're not that far from me. Any running backs that I don't know if I should take a running back or if I should. Let's just say to take Chris Brooks. Not taking Chris Brooks. LaQuint Allen. Oh, I like this pick. All right. All right. All right. All right. The kitchen team is on auto draft now. Is this real, Emo? Is this a real? You've been 20th round Kareem Hunting? We got to talk about this on Toxic Tower. Here we go. This is we're gonna have to talk about this on Toxic Tower. All right, I am 20th rounding Isaiah Davis. All right. To recap, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Kyron Williams, Javonte Williams, Christian Watson, Drake May for AJ Brown, Tucker Kraft for Christian Watson, Michael Pittman, George Kittle, Jordan Love for Tucker Kraft and Christian Watson, Jordan Mason and Tyrone Tracy. Tracy's a bring back for the Dallas game. Cam Ward, Debo, Gunnar Helm for Cam Ward, Kayshon Boutte for New England, and Drake May and AJ Brown. Tank Dell as a bring back against Green Bay. Nick Singleton, Tennessee stack. Troy Franklin, a bring back against New England, and Isaiah Davis, who actually pairs with Jordan Mason. We had a lot of correlation and bringbacks in this lineup, or like we did what we needed to do. Someone says 7.6. We didn't have like a crazy amount of falling value. Went wide receiver, different kind of build for me. Don't always do the running back thing right here. No Hunt, 6.9. I think my first team was better than this one. But I think like it's usable. Anytime I say it's usable, that means it was a mid team, but it's fine. But I agree with you guys. Wasn't like phenomenal. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I got to edit the podcast, get some work done. Yeah, we'll be doing more of these. I think I'm going to be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Kitchen will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to try to do it at 1 o'clock every day on the channel. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video, comment, etc., etc. Otherwise, everyone, thanks for tuning in.